many times from many people how they feel like they're going round in circles in their lives. They've got problems or situations that just keep repeating. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you constantly find yourself in a situation where you're in conflict with a certain person in your life. Maybe someone that you work with, or maybe a relationship that you're in. Or maybe you constantly find yourself in a situation where you keep getting ill, or you constantly find a situation arising in your life where you're losing your phone, or losing things, or your car keeps breaking down. Whatever it is, it's a cycle, it's a pattern, it's something that keeps repeating. And as I say, people keep coming to me a lot and saying, this kind of thing keeps happening to me, and what's going on, what's that all about? And what I tend to say is that actually this is a much more positive situation than you think it is. And the reason I say that is because everybody out there is going around in circles in their lives, but they're not necessarily aware that that's what's happening. And the fact that you are aware that you're going around in circles means that you are somewhat awake, you're conscious, you can see these patterns happening in your life, which is a really good thing. So it brings us to the question, why do these cycles keep repeating? The reason I believe these cycles repeat is because in every situation there is a lesson to learn, or there's karma to burn. Now if a situation is repeating, it's probably more about a lesson to learn than it is karma to burn. So if we learn the lesson, then we can move on to another lesson. If we don't learn the lesson, we have to repeat, much like a kid in school who doesn't quite make the grade and has to go back and repeat the year again in order to catch up. So we do this in life as well. And you see people, it's often easier to see in other people, in their lives, how they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. They keep repeating the same relationships over and over again. And you can't figure out why. It's like people who are in the habit of being in one or a series of abusive relationships is a really good example of this. People haven't learnt the lesson of why they manifest that relationship, why they keep finding themselves in abusive relationships, so they're not able to leave that situation because they keep manifesting that situation in their lives so they can learn that lesson. So how do we break these cycles? Well, the first thing we need to do is bring awareness as to what the cycle is and what the lesson is to learn from that. Once we've done those two things, identify them, we can then choose different courses of actions. The reason something keeps repeating in one's life is because we respond or react in the same way to that situation, and therefore we create a repeating pattern. So somebody in your life, let's say your boss, treats you like crap because they're aggressive, and you react in a certain way and they get fed by that, and therefore they get into a habit of treating you in that way, and you get in a habit of responding in that way, and the pattern repeats. An example. So how we change that is, rather than reacting in the same way that we've always reacted, is we respond in a different way. We pause, we in a conscious way respond to that situation, and maybe turn around and say, do you know what, I really don't feel that it's appropriate for you to talk to me that way, and I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. So either you're going to talk to me in a respectful way, or I'm going to find another job. And that's probably going to come as a bit of a shock to your boss because they don't expect you to speak to them that way, and probably that's going to change the relationship. It requires you to come into your center and actually speak from your heart and be in your highest self. And generally speaking, when we're reacting from our patterns, we're not acting from our higher self, we're acting from our childhood conditioning. So it's these programs that we need to look at, and these programs that we need to change. And when we've done that work, our whole life changes, because everything's different, because we're responding consciously rather than reacting unconsciously. Now you can do this at any time. Any of these patterns can be changed at any given moment. It just takes that awareness and that decision to do it. One of the things that I do in my work is I help people to become aware of these patterns and these programs, and shine light onto these behavioral patterns and these situations so that they can be transformed And if you would like to explore that, then we could do that together. Drop me a message, either leave a message here or shoot me an email at gopaldesalva@gmail.com, or any of my social media links that you know of. You can contact me through there, and we can see about changing some of these patterns for you. It's a big work in many cases, because the older we are, the longer we've had these patterns. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to take many, many years to transform. If you're really willing and able to put in the work and to apply your awareness and your consciousness, things can change in a heartbeat, really, in a heartbeat. Once you've made that decision and you change your state of consciousness, it's in a blink of an eye. Everything's different. It's almost like stepping into a whole new world where all of these problems that used to manifest all the time, they're very different. They don't show up for you anymore. And you're actually creating the reality that you want, one where life is easier, life flows in a beautiful way, and it's a nice way to live, believe me. And I really, I wish that for you. I pray that in your life, that you can have that flow and that ease. And if I could be a part of helping you to have that, then I'd be very, very grateful. So yeah, I'll speak to you about it again perhaps. Lots of love for all our relations.